A 15-year-old by the name of Anthony Stokes was denied a heart transplant from a hospital, a children's healthcare of Atlanta hospital in Atlanta. And the reasoning that they gave him initially was that, well, this is a case of non-compliance. They felt that he did not deserve the heart transplant because there was no indication that he would take the drugs necessary to make sure that his body didn't reject the transplant. Now, they decided to reverse the decision, but they reversed the decision after there was a media backlash over their initial decision. But when they first released a statement indicating why they were against giving him the transplant, they said the following. Based on this meeting and discussion by our team, the decision was made that Anthony is currently not a transplant candidate due to having a history of non-compliance, which is one of our center's contraindications to listing for heart transplant. They never really specified what the indications were there. Like, why does he have a history of non-compliance? And they haven't clarified that. We've reached out to them. They won't clarify that. But his parents felt that, and look, this is an assumption because the hospital will not confirm or deny this, but the parents felt that the reason why they denied the transplant to begin with was because of his bad grades and because of his run-ins with the law. In fact, a family friend says the non-compliance is fabricating because they don't want to give him a heart. This is unacceptable because he must lose his life because of non-compliance.
So as I look at this case, at first I thought it was complicated, right? Because it's not whether he gets the heart or no one gets it, they throw it in the garbage. No, a lot of people need heart transplants, and so they've got to make really, really hard decisions, and they've got to judge, based on a number of different factors. So, for example, if someone is older or they don't take their medication, meaning that it's not likely to be successful, then they're going to get moved down on the list, right? Or someone is really overweight. Okay, you're less likely to get a transplant because of where they put you on the list, etc., right? So I understand that. On the other hand, the kid is 15, man. Who cares what grades he got? I mean, again, we don't know that for sure, though, but God, if you're the hospital, then why don't you just deny it? Why don't you just say, of course we didn't take his grades into account?
Yeah, exactly, and we did reach out to the hospital personally, and they refused to answer any questions. They sent me a prepared statement that said the following. As we stated previously, a heart transplant evaluation is an ongoing process based on the patient and his or her family's ability to meet specific transplant criteria. While there has been misinformation circulating, okay, what is the misinformation? Why don't you clarify that? Children's cannot discuss the specifics of this case or any other case due to privacy rules. Our physician experts are continuing to work with this family to establish a care plan and determine the best next steps for the patient. At Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, patient care is always our top priority. Well, it's always your top priority when the media criticizes a horrible decision you made when it comes to the transplant list. Look, I have experience with a family member on a transplant list. And the way that it works is they do a number of screenings, a number of tests to determine whether you are suitable for a organ donation. And you go through leaps and bounds. I mean, you go through so many obstacles just to get on that list. Once you're on that list and once you're next in line to get the organ donation, I don't feel that the hospital has the right to all of a sudden turn around and say, like, nah, non-compliance. And I don't know what they're basing the non-compliance on. It would be really helpful if the hospital was clear about that. But you're messing with someone's life here. This kid has an enlarged heart and has 6 to 9 months to live unless he gets the transplant. So you guys can't just say, like, oh, non-compliance, sorry. Clarify it. Tell us what's going on.
Now, look, they're in a really, really tough spot because if every time they rejected someone, they said, all right, we need you to get into the nitty-gritty and give me all the details of why you made that decision, it's going to get really harsh, right? And so I get that as they prioritize and they're playing with people's lives here, these are tough, tough situations, right? On the other hand, if it was a matter of not taking the medicine, well, then they certainly would say that. That's easy, right?
And they're making a prediction.
And the family says absolutely that he does take the medicine, so that is not an issue, okay? So I don't know why they made this decision, but when you look at it from the outside, it's hard to agree with their decision, especially given the little facts they've given us. Kid's otherwise healthy, he's 15 years old, he's not a smoker, he's taking his medication, And as Colonel Morris Davis made a point today, and he's a guy who was a chief prosecutor at Guantanamo, happened to be on our TV show tonight, and he said they gave Dick Cheney a heart. And Dick Cheney has had all these heart complications, is much older, he's a war criminal. Okay, the list goes on. And you're not going to give a 15-year-old a heart? I mean, no, that's, of course, beyond the pale. And the fact that they're backpedaling furiously, it might be because they got bad publicity.
Of course.
Or it might also be because they realized, oops, that was really callous what we did and not the right decision. And that's part of why they're backpedaling.